What's up everybody, it's Greg Peters with the Car Passion channel, and I haven't posted anything in a while because... Is that really necessary? What's up everybody, it's Greg Peters with the Car Passion channel here, and I haven't posted any videos in a while because I'm working on kind of a bigger project video that's not going to be done for a little bit, but I want to shoot an update today to show you what I got going on the NB Miata, and I'll also be replacing a couple seals in my transmission as well as some other related items. So let's jump into it. All right, so just so you guys aren't confused about why the engine in the NB Miata is all of a sudden taken apart, I removed the head from that car so it could get the valve job that it's been needing. But while the head was away at the machine shop, I did some other stuff to the car, which is what this video is about. The next video I upload will be all about the head removal and reinstallation process. Okay, I took a break from filming for almost 2 weeks now because I haven't had the head back yet, so I can't really continue. But I figured while I wait for the head, which I should have back tomorrow, might as well pull the transmission and replace the clutch, because I need to do that anyways for nitrous power, because the stock clutch ain't gonna be handling what I'm gonna be putting through this bad boy. So there is the stock clutch that came out of the NB, and this is an ACT clutch that I picked up lightly used. The specifics of this clutch are, this is a 1.6 liter ACT Xtreme pressure plate. It is an organic disc, which I probably would have chose a 6-puck if I just would have bought this clutch, but it is rated for 270 pound-feet of torque, and I only plan on running maybe about 200, so clutch holding power should be fine. And it's mated up with a Fidanza 1.6 liter super light flywheel. So the Fidanza flywheel is already super light. The 1.6 liter is about 1.5 pounds lighter than the 1.8 liter. And the clutch, the pressure plate, everything is smaller diameter. So the weight is focused more closely to the center. So lighter weight, smaller diameter means ultimate quick revs. I used to have almost the same exact setup in my 1.6 liter, and it was great. So lightweight, here you can actually see, if I pull this, this is a 1.6 disc on top of the 1.8 disc, and you can see how much smaller in diameter that disc is, which smaller disc does mean less holding power, which is why when you turbocharge your Miata, if it's a 1.6 liter, it's very common to go the other way and you will upgrade to the 1.8 equipment and get a little bit more holding power. But this is just going to be stock block power, so it should be okay. But before I go ahead and continue this, let's weigh these parts and see what they come out to. Okay, 17.6 pounds for the full 1.6 liter setup, and 27.8 pounds. So over 10 pounds difference between the two, plus the benefit of a smaller diameter. Now I just gotta hope it holds.
A few moments later.
So that clutch and flywheel system is now fully installed and the car is ready to take the transmission, but I'm gonna replace a couple seals first. So Treasure Coast Miata was nice enough to send me out their transmission seal kit, as well as a clutch slave cylinder, clutch master cylinder, and a stainless braided clutch line. They are a huge source for Mazda OEM parts. I'll go ahead and link them down below in the description in case you want to pick up this stuff or anything for your Miata. Now, I feel like resealing the trans is something that's somewhat overlooked. This may look a little dirty in here, but when I pulled this transmission out, it had probably 1/4 inch of just black sludge coating everything inside here. I think this transmission is a prime example of how these things get neglected on clutch jobs, because somehow the throwout bearing that I pulled seems to be brand new, and the clutch that I removed from the car looks brand new as well. It's like an OEM XD clutch, but it's like someone replaced the clutch and did not clean a single speck of anything, and this thing could have been just leaking really bad and they just kind of threw it all back together. I don't know for sure because I don't know the history on the car, but it's always a possibility. So anyways, let's crack this thing open. Start by removing all the bolts that hold the input shaft cover on. Now when you pull it off, have a rag ready because some transmission fluid will probably leak out. Inside of that cover, you'll find the input shaft seal, and I'll get back to that in just a second. First, I want to remove this old gasket, which came off super easy, but make sure this surface is clear of all gasket material and also clean and dry before continuing. Next, remove the old input shaft seal. I'm using a seal puller here, but this thing should come out pretty easy with any variation of pick tools. Just be careful not to damage the surface where the cover meets the transmission. Once the old seal is out, the new one should go in pretty easy as well. I was able to get mine in about 90% of the way by hand, and for the last little bit I used the old seal in combination with the mallet to tap it the rest of the way in. A new cover gasket is also included in the Treasure Coast kit, and at this point you're ready to put it all back together, which would be a total piece of cake if it weren't for this random shim inside the cover, which I'm pretty sure they just included to make it more difficult to reassemble, but it's got to go back together the way it came apart. So I put on my thinking cap and I came up with this method of using a magnet to get the shim to stick inside the cover while installing it, and it actually worked pretty well. Once everything is secured back in place, you can tighten down all the bolts and install the clutch fork and throwout bearing. Always put a thin layer of grease on any metal parts that come into contact with each other, like the clutch fork pivot ball, slave cylinder rod, throwout bearing, etc. Oh, and here's how to install the little clip into the clutch fork in case anyone needs that. Now I'll install the dust boot here and slide the clutch fork into place, and you'll feel a distinct pop when the clip goes over the pivot ball. Make sure the actuation is smooth and you're ready to move on to the rear of the transmission. Now this seal is really easy. It's got an outer metal ring that you can get a flathead under and just tap it right out. On the new seal, you do need to orient it the correct way. There's actually a weep hole in the seal that will drip when you need to replace it, but they're clearly marked on which way they need to go in. Since they have that metal ring on the outside, you can just tap it into place with an extension and a mallet, hitting different parts of the seal so that it goes in evenly and easily. I also replaced my clutch master and slave cylinders just as preventative maintenance, as well as upgrading to a full braided stainless line, which was as simple as just removing the old system in its entirety, including this old crusty rubber line that looks like it's been snacked on by a local rodent. And the new parts bolt in the same way the old ones came out, and I'll just fish the slave cylinder down into the tunnel for now, and I'll bolt it back in place when the transmission goes back in. I've got full detailed videos on how to replace your clutch master cylinder, how to bleed your clutch, as well as how to do a full clutch job, which I'll link down in the description below. I got the new slave cylinder installed. Obviously I still have to route the line, but the slave is hooked up. Transmission is all back in. Got the ACT Xtreme ultra lightweight super rev clutch setup all installed. This is all done except for the exhaust. Pedal feel is absolutely stiff. I think it's gonna rip. And the best part, looky what I just got back. So I can finally hop back on filming the other video that I'm working on now that I got the cylinder head back. Got some beautiful wrinkle black parts to show off as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little update. That's what I got going on with the NB. I'm just absolutely freight training on this thing right now. Thursday night when I got off work, I dropped the trans. Friday night, I changed the clutch. Saturday, which is today, I spent the whole day cleaning the transmission, replacing the seals, getting all that back in and put together. And now tomorrow, I am going to attempt to get the whole engine back together and be able to fire the car up. So I'm not sure if that's gonna happen or not, but I got the whole day tomorrow to get it figured out. I'm gonna go jump back into it while I still got a couple hours of daylight left, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.